Good evening, rockers. Vegas Rock Goddess here on the rocks. Total entertainment. Coming to you live from somewhere off the Las Vegas Strip. Today, I am interviewing an amazing band that's actually on a headlining tour with EARSHOT, Machines. So this band is great. They're from Kansas City, Missouri. We're going to get to know Machines. So let's sit back and get ready to rock. All right, let's get Machines in and get the party started. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to On the Rocks, Total Entertainment.
How are you? Good. Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Let's talk about this band.
Yeah.
You guys are from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long have you guys been together? When did all this rock and roll dream start?
So I guess to kind of preface that, so I'm originally from Omaha. Omaha, so right down the road, Kansas City, second home.
Right.
And we were awaiting Eli previously, and released some stuff, did some touring in 15 and 16, if you remember, like Screaming for Silence and bands like that. So, and then we're getting ready to cut another record and kind of just put things on hold for a while. And then, fast forward up until like 2020 or late 20 or early 21, I was recording No Shelter with Chris Dawson. And we also cut Heroes and Villains at the time. And we're like, man, like, Waiting Eli just isn't Waiting Eli anymore. Like, we want to kind of dive into something different. And like, then COVID was happening, and it's like, dude, they're programming people to be machines. Like, that's what they're doing here, is they want everybody to kind of operate. So after a while, I think it was when we shot the music video for Gravity. Actually, it was. We were taking off out of the airport to go fly out and shoot that video with Tom Flynn in New York, and we changed the name that day.
Wow.
So, and so it's went through its formations. Like Awaiting Eli had several different transitions through members and stuff like that. And Machines has had some fill-ins and stuff like that. But now we've got, a pretty good group of everybody that we have together that make the band what it is now.
So you have a solid lineup then.
Yeah. So Los, our bassist, actually isn't going to be traveling with us on this tour. He has to stay home. So we have a good friend of ours, Brian, from Scream at the Sky, who was also in Dead Horse Trauma, which our drummer Garrett was in Dead Horse Trauma.
Right.
So like Brian's like, hey, I'll do it. So we're like, bet. Okay, cool. Somebody that we all know is coming out to play bass for this run. But yeah, so Nick and I and Garrett are the, Ian, and then obviously Los has been with me for 8 years since Waiting Eli,
Right.
So he ain't going nowhere, but yeah, that's what we've got locked in now.
And that's great, because you have a new record coming out.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like I just looked at I've been so busy with other stuff. I looked at the calendar. I'm like, holy shit, it's coming out in like 6 days.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. We'll talk about EARSHOT in a few minutes, but I really want to touch on this new record. Tell us about it.
I'm stoked. So as you know, and you probably hear from interviewing other artists, like a lot of the stuff that we've got, like No Shelter, like I've just told you, I recorded that song. The song was originally called Burn. And if I was to look up on my old laptop when that demo was originally cut, it was in like 2018. It was a whole different lifetime for me. It went back when I was partying and stuff. And it was originally about like, killing the devil inside of you, burning the devil alive inside of you. And then it goes through its demo transitions. And then I, link up with Chris Dawson, like, let's do this song. And then, like the songs, so many of these have been, in some kind of format of a demo for a couple years, and then we just kind of, I'll usually write and leave it at a point where, okay, we'll come back to it with the producer and see if we really like this or not, or if it makes the cut to go or not. So like, now that it's coming up and we're getting ready to release it, I'm like, this is awesome. Like finally, because I've got 2 other records ready. Like I've got 2 other records of like forward moving stuff that's progressing even more into that electronics. Right. And because we're we're mixing a lot of that pop element and, you know, rock element, just active rock with that modern age pop stuff too, and then some of the EDM kind of stuff in there, but not as much as I See Stars did, but just little tastes of it. And so like the stuff that we're even doing now, there's a lot more. It's even more of those elements, you know, as opposed to, which this record I love. It sounds very like uniform, you know, like Dawson did a fantastic job on it. And you know, there's what is there, eight songs in a cover, so 9 songs total on it. We're the cover. I'm excited for that one to come out too, because that's a fun one. And the more and more I rehearse that song, and more I go back, and I'm just like, man, they wrote this song, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, and it just means more, or it's still very relevant to today, you know, if not more than ever. And that's a great, you know, great song. So I'm stoked about it. I know the guys are stoked to get it out. You know, when you're sitting back on music, you're just like, you know, like it's got to get out there. It's got to get. So we just want to figure out the right, you know, figure out the right time. And obviously, with how things are, you know, like nowadays, and the distribution and setting up the campaigns and doing this and doing that, and I was the side of it I hate. But at the end of the day, it's a necessity, and you have to do it. And that's like, you know, getting all that stuff going. So now that it's all set up and teed up and it's going, and we're just on the countdown, it's like cool. Like, you know, like we'll get the record out, and then, like I said, for me, I was joking with a buddy of mine that did some fill and guitar work back in the day with in Hurricane Like Me, and he's like, send me a song to mix. I'm like, bro, I haven't even gotten into rehearsal mode yet. I got like 10 days, you know, 10, 12 days before we get ready to take off. I think we're leaving on the 26th. So I was like, I gotta get my head into, I can't be writing anymore. I gotta start going back to rehearsal mode.
Right. Cause I mean, this is a huge record for you guys. Now I hope we're going to hear some of these songs on the 30th. Yeah,
we're playing everything on that, everything from that record, or I should say everything that we're playing is off of this record, besides one song that'll be on the next record, and that song is going to be Holy Water.
Okay.
Holy Water, what's funny is I wrote it before we played a show here in Kansas City in March, and I was like, I wrote it like a week or two before we played that show, and I was like, we're playing this song. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're playing this song. We're playing this song. And it's just the energy that it brings and the meaning that it has. And so it's to me, I was like, I want to keep that song because it gives a little bit of a taste of like where I think we're playing on song 5 or song 6 or something like that. So it gives a little bit of an idea where we're kind of transitioning to, but then everything else is off of this record on there.
That's great because, you know, EARSHOT, this is a huge tour. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about, how did you connect with Will Martin?
So our manager is John Gomez. He's been with us for probably a little over a year now. I've had him on the team, and we were kind of just sitting back, figuring out, you know, we were strategizing some tour stuff that was coming up, and you know, like he just randomly hit me one day. It was like, hey, dude, what about EARSHOT? I'm like, that's so crazy, because when I wrote, you know, it's funny, and it's a little side story. When I wrote their first record for Awaiting Eli, right, it was called Lifeless. We had 4 songs, but we were supposed to go do 8, and we were going to do 8. So it's like, all right, well, what do we do? So I recorded the rough guitars, or the guitars for the track, the first 4. And then while the drummer went and cut his drums, I went and wrote 4 other songs that night so we could record them the next day. What I was listening to for inspiration at the time was EARSHOT, which is crazy. And it's like, and I'm like, that's nuts, you know? And so he mentioned EARSHOT. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it, dude. So John put that together for us. And that was when he said that, I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's so serendipity. I hear so many of these stories where other bands come together with, you know, other bands, and it's just like a moment in time, like a song, or you randomly meet this person at a show. That's so cool.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And like I said, to have it be a band that, you know, I listen to a lot, you know, going through, you know, Obviously, like I said, they're popular songs that everybody knows, but those are, like I said, those are ones that which I was happy to see the list that he's kind of teasing, because I was like, cool, man. Like that's the stuff. It's like, man, that stuff. I listened to it. I listened to it the other week, and it brings me back to memories that I was at during those times, and I'm like, this is it's gonna be a fun tour, Like I said, they were huge, and those songs have, I mean, everybody I said, they're like, "Earshot, you guys are what, seriously?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude.
Will Martin and I interviewed him about a month ago, and we were talking about this tour, and they have some new music coming out also. So with you guys having new music, they're gonna play some. I mean, this show is gonna be epic at Vamped.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. We're gonna, like I said, that's cool because I think that's like our third or second, well, second on the tour with them, but third day in. So that's kind of like, I always joke with guys. It's like all the guys will get in town, all the guys will get in town a couple days ahead of time, and then we usually rehearse like 2-3 days out before leaving, just make sure everybody's well rehearsed previously, and then we'll get out there, and it's always like show one, like, okay, cool, that was good, and then show two, it's like, oh, that got better, and show three, it's like, boom, overdrive. We're ready to run.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
like you guys kind of have to get your mojo going again, because I mean, it's been a while, probably since pandemic, that you guys have actually been out, right?
Yeah, and actually it was probably even before that, because like I said, we didn't do, like we switched everything. So Waiting Eli kind of went on a we played some one-offs and stuff. We played with like Hinder and played with a couple one-offs between like Omaha and Kansas City. But I mean, we weren't actively touring since like 2016. So now it's like, like you got to get back in that mode of like, because that's what I always joke with people. I'm like, you guys think it's just this heyday, man? Like, it's work, dude. Like, this is work, like, and to make sure that you take care of yourself every day, and make sure that you're, try to sound as good as you can, because like I said, the record's gonna be out. People are gonna hear these songs. The idea is to have the record out so people are singing them, and if you ain't singing them right, they're gonna be
right. Yeah, so it's great that the album is going to drop before the show. So it's like perfect timing.
Yeah, that's why we did it that way.
Check it out.
Yeah, that's why we did it that way, because I was like, well, what better time to drop it than right before tour? Drop the album.
And you guys are playing San Diego first, and then you guys are playing us. So it's going to be epic. It's going to be great. A lot of my followers are really looking forward to hearing you guys.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. We won't let them down, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna play. Are you gonna play some older stuff too?
It's funny. I get a lot of requests to pull some of that Waiting Eli stuff in, because there's some good songs that we had written. It's just a whole different writing style, like, and I guess I have a hard time when I get in like a writing mode. I can usually write about 3 to 4 songs a week, and so like for me, it's like, do I spend time going back to old songs and trying to rework them, or do I just like, because this week alone, like I said, I had to stop myself, because I was like sick. My wife was laughing. I was in the shower washing my hair, and she hears me singing this melody, like just humming a melody. And then I was like, I got to go downstairs. I have to go downstairs real quick. I come downstairs and I put the guitars down, put the drums down, put the bass down, lay the vocal line. It's like, okay, cool. I can save it and forget it. Next one.
Right.
So it's just, it's kind of a battle, because it's like, man, like, do I go back and try to recreate or reinvent ones that are old? And, like I said, I think I do want to do it with like 1 or 2, because my guitarist at the time that I had in that band was actually the one that got me into it, was Bobby. He passed away, and so bummer. It's a bummer. It was like losing a brother, and so that's kind of through that's where we kind of were like, I think it's probably time to leave it to rest. But I think I would still like to I do want to do one that I know that he had, that I had started, that he didn't know I was starting, that he had already been writing. And I would like to bring, that song will be called Cope, if that ever comes out. But but like I said, at the end of the day, it was such a different writing. It was like Kill Switch kind of meets I love 7 Deaths, but it was like Kill Switch and 7 Deaths with like 5 Finger Death Punch kind of stuff. And
Right.
what we're doing now, where it could still be on the same stage as that stuff, we're also bringing a lot of different other elements in that I want to be able to attract a crowd that listens to Maroon 5, you know,
Right.
all on top of pulling in a crowd that listens to Starset, you know, on top of a Bringing the Horizon crowd. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if you're just riding here, then you've only got this, you know, it's like what Bringing the Horizon has done. Exactly. They went from riding to here to riding to the whole map, you know, and just with different songs and different elements and bringing in stuff, Jordan coming into the band and helping produce a lot of stuff.
Right.
It just changed the element of the band. And that's what I've tried to do with Machines, is give it's from awaiting Eli and like the human to machine transition. The Machines basically is that whole transition into something completely new and just a lot more forward, you know?
Right, which is great. Now, Eric, what are some of your influences?
Man, there's a lot. You know, I listen to try to figure out, it was crazy. Like some of this pop stuff, like I'll listen to Ellie Goulding stuff. I'll listen to Ed Sheeran. I'll listen to Maroon 5. I'll listen to, you know, specifically more Adam, but I'll listen to that stuff. And then obviously, like, you've got like Rain City Drive, Slaves, Bring Me the Horizon, which Rain City Drive and Slaves have got on the same thing, and they're just reformed now. But Bring Me the Horizon, I Prevail, the stuff that's staying current, obviously, because at the end of the day, like that's the competition, you know. It's a friendly competition because they're what we're listening to as well as fans, but that's the bar that's being set. And so, you know, like I said, but I listen to a array of a lot of stuff. I listen, you know, like Bones, which is a rapper. You know, I listen to a lot of local hip hop from Omaha. There's a lot of great hip hop artists. I've done tracks with King ISO and Tech Nine here from Kansas City. You know, like I listen to a wide array of everything. Hell, I listen to Hardy. You know, that dude that's doing the hard rock and country kind of stuff, like,
Yeah.
and killing it. You know, like if it's good, it's good. You just can't.
Right.
You know, like if it's crispy production, great vocals, which I joke a lot of people, because I'm like, Hardy sounds like a very well polished Wes Scantlin. If you listen to him and you listen to Old Puddle of Mud when Wes was younger, you'll hear the resemblance. Which I know Wes we don't want to talk about because Wes is getting in trouble right now. But at the end of the day,
yeah, no kidding. I just saw Wes. Literally, just saw. I was like 50 feet from him.
I just watched the thing from that. What was it was a machine shop or something like that. Just banned him. Like he can't play, or which, like I feel bad because I booked him a while back too, you know, and we play with him, and that was when he was coming off of the issues and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, you know, it was cool when I listened to Hardy, because I'm like, dude, it just sounds like a very well polished Wes Scantlin. And maybe other people hear that, but I know me from listening to Blurry and Drift and Die and all that other stuff. It's like, that's that voice, that's that register, that's that tonality in somebody that you can't really teach that. That's just it's a genetic thing. You can teach to be a great singer, but genetics you can't teach.
Right. And you know, Wes Scantlin is amazing, and he put out an amazing performance at Brooklyn Bowl.
Yeah, he's a good performer.
His voice today is he's still got it. And it was great to see him back with the band. So it was really a good show. But, you know, getting back to everybody's rebooting, you know, I think since pandemic, a lot of these bands are taking a look at their format, and I think they're reinventing themselves, and that's in a good way. It's not in a bad way. And
you have to.
Yeah, I think it's pandemic forced these bands to take a look at how their approaches with social media as well as their fans. You know, and I think the interaction with the fans is really what is going to make or break a band at this point, the reboot. And you guys are great, man. I see you on social media all the time, and it's great to see you constantly grinding it, because you gotta stay current, man. You know how
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, it's at the end of the day, we're only, like we're only able to do this shit if people show up, and like I said, we're in a day and age where if you spend enough time on it, you can make anything sound perfect. Like we have the technology to make it. I mean, that's the difference between old records, Boston, Kansas, Foreigner, Seeger, old records compared to new records, the way that they make new records. You can make everything perfect. Now, you might not have the greatest player. Maybe you have a hired gun come in and play the stuff, but you can make it and edit it and make it perfect. So off the top, it has to sound great. That's just the standard that's out there if you even want to do it. Then on top of it, like you said, it's everything else. But, like the thing is like, I mean, if it isn't for people, if people don't pick up on what you're doing, or they don't respond to what you're putting out, then you're going to be just in your own house doing it, like, and that's the thing is I try to dance a line, like this stuff, because it's so difficult I don't go, I ran bars for many years. So the things I don't talk about are your religion choice. I don't talk about your sexual orientation, and I don't talk about politics, because at the end of the day, I've seen more fights in bars because of those three things. I believe the same kind of thing in music, because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't want to divide my crowds, right? However, the machines does have a subtle play on, it's like the AI transformation, the transformation from the human life into, and like I said, what it felt like for, which I think a lot of people latch on this too, is that what it felt like, because I've explained this before in interviews, that it felt like, during COVID, just I watching them try and enforce a curfew, and you follow this and you do this, and if you do this, you'll get our help, and if you get our help, then you owe. It's like, man, like they are like, they literally like, they just want you to follow suit, and if you don't follow suit, they were like literally shooting tear gas at people that didn't go home at 9 o'clock in Omaha. I'm like, dude, are we serious here?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
because I lived through that too, because I tell the story a lot, but I was interviewing bands. I was on Camp Rock Alive with Mike Petrelli, and through all of COVID. And at some point when that second wave came, we shut it down.
Yeah.
And I decided to wait and then reboot my own show. But like, as we were doing it, bands were breaking up.
Yeah.
And I mean, people, but you know what? We're in 23, 24 now. So everything is moving forward, and people want to hear a positive spin. They want to escape. They want to escape what they have going on. And that's where you guys come in with this show. And I mean, it's incredible. People are out. They're ready to rock.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear you say that, because that's another difference in, awaiting Eli's message compared to the message that I'm trying to portray with machines. And that, like awaiting Eli, so I was just telling a guy today, September 18th, I've been sober for 3 years off of, like, I still will have a drink here and there, and I might smoke a little bit, but like, I mean, partying, like stuff that was ruining my life. And awaiting Eli, that I was writing off of those times. And you primarily get, and this is another thing I bring up, like Alice in Chains. If you listen to a lot of that music, man, Lane was suffering a lot of pain, and some of it was probably self-created, and some of it had to do with him just not liking people and all the other stuff. But at the end of the day, it was coming from the playground you're playing in. And that my message in awaiting Eli's music a lot of times was more of a negative portrayal. And I remember, actually, ironically, my dad, he's a musician too, and he's like, dude, you gotta stop like writing such hateful shit. Like, and I'm like, of all people, like he tells me, like, you gotta stop writing such, like, not hateful, but like just somber. And it's like, all right, and that's always resonated with me, because it's like, all right, figure out how to make, how to make a positive message, out of it. Somehow twist it into, there is a positive out of this. Whatever, because all my music is still stories. It's all still it's not necessarily ever really fictitious. It's always usually factual. It's all about something. But at the end of the day, I always try to figure out how to squeeze and turn a positive into there to keep a positive attitude towards things.
And every artist has a story to tell.
Hell yeah.
and a life that has been lived.
Yeah.
So your life is completely different now
Hmm.
when you were in the other band. So
Yeah.
moving forward, if I'm sure for you, it feels good to look back on those times and wow, I'm still here. I'm really rocking. You know what
Yeah.
I
I
mean?
made it out of it. Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
not a lot of people get to say that, like I said, I mean, and especially where I was at with it, I was probably, people would have probably put more money on Black than me coming back.
So
I can
that,
tell
I
you
mean,
that.
that's great. That's such an accomplishment. That's a positive message, for
Hmm.
our viewers. Maybe some of our viewers are struggling
Yeah.
with addiction or whatever. And it's good for you to come forward and talk about it, because a lot of artists will not talk about it. It's
You
like
got to.
taboo.
You got to. It's it. I mean, like I said, I'm as transparent as they come. Like it is what it is. Like I said, I mean, some of the stuff you're like, damn, it's like it's an embarrassing. It's like, yeah, well, it's embarrassing, but I did it. I did it myself.
Right.
Like I remember having conversations, because I'm the one person that let down the most, mom, like, and she's like, I'm not going to sit here and watch you kill yourself. And this is probably because of how your dad was. And it's like, it ain't nobody's fault. It's my fault. I did it.
Right.
It's
And
me. I'm the one that's doing it.
right. And you're owning it. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
That you're owning
Yeah.
it, you're moving forward, and this tour is going to kill. It's going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's the thing is I don't think, and just to build on that, I don't think we'd be where we're at. I'd probably be dead. But even if I wasn't, we wouldn't be here. I write such better stuff, and actually can wrap my head around things and get stuff done. And actually, if I got tasked, I can get tasked and more done, like it's just, the actual side of it and what they want us to do in this business and industry now, I can tackle. I couldn't tackle it before.
yeah, I mean, Eric, you're rocking with a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that not only warms my heart, it warms my viewers' hearts as well. Because there's so many bands still struggling with various demons, addictions, and whatever. But you
Yeah.
guys are here, and you're on a great tour.
Yeah.
With 1,000 years.
Yes.
So yeah. So how excited are you to start this?
Pretty stoked. Pretty stoked. Like I said, I'm jazzed. I know the guys are jazzed. Like we're ready to go. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's always different. Like I said, it's different touring back then. All I have is animals. I got two boys now, and I've got stepkids. I'm married. I have a wife. So being gone for 35, because we're doing 18 shows with them, and then we've got like 8 or 9 more after them that we're doing on the way back in. So we're going to be going all the way up until about November 1st. So it's the first time I'm having to leave. I have a 1-year-old. It turned 1 on August 30th. His name's Axel, and I have Jagger, and then Jagger will be 2 in November. So it's going to be tough, but we're in a day and age where you got iPhones or whatever, and you can FaceTime people.
Zoom.
Yeah, and so I'll be doing a lot of that. But I mean, like I said, so you get your standard. Like, I'm not even good with leaving my kids with babysitters, so
right.
Wife will be home, but it's just going to be, that's the toughest part about it, is leaving your family. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is what I'm here to do. I told her the other day, I said, because we got a little anxiety and tensions are rising high as it gets closer. And I was like, you married a fucking musician. Like, like, hey, what do you think I'm going to do? Sit downstairs in the basement and just fucking live in my glory days? Like, no, this is what we have to do. This is my job.
Yeah. You have to get in front of people and rock. And that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, Eric, for coming on. Why don't you tell the viewers where, on all platforms, where they can find your music?
Yeah, if you go, I mean, anything and everything, obviously, TikTok to your Spotify to your, iHeart, all that stuff. Actually, if you look on our Facebook page and our Instagrams, we've got the hyperlink so you can pre-save the album. That comes out September 22nd. We Are Machines is the album. It's jam-packed full of great music. We're super stoked about it. Great cover that I think everybody's gonna fucking love. And then, you know, I mean, but everywhere, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere that we're supposed to be, we are there. If you just type in Machines, MCHNZ, we are right there.
And we're going to talk about the big show at Vamp Nightclub, September 30th with EARSHOT. This is going to be an epic show. I will be there covering it live.
Yes.
So you'll see me. We'll get to meet each other.
Yes, looking forward to that. We're
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
And I'm going to do videos and pictures for your band. So
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty cool. I really can't wait.
That's
So,
rad. That's
we are
rad.
looking forward to this new record. I will see you on September 30th. And keep in touch. And we can't wait to see you.
We can't wait to be there. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate
No
you.
worries, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, take care.
Bye. Okay, We Are Machines. Machines is coming to Las Vegas, September 30th, opening up for EARSHOT. This is going to be a great show at Vamped Nightclub right here in Las Vegas. So come party with the Vegas Rock Goddess. I will be there covering the show live. So definitely come party with me. I am the Vegas Rock Goddess, Carol Nevin. Thanks for watching. Always like and subscribe to On the Rocks Total Entertainment. And I will see you next time.